Hi, everybody, and welcome to a new episode of Office Hours. Today, we are talking about ways and strategies that you can adopt to become a college professor. This is a question that we often get during office hours. How do I get my first teaching gig after the MLA? And so, this presentation will provide you with a few answers. First, what you gotta do is decide where you want to teach, because this will then influence the way you will present yourself and what you will put in your application. Do you want to teach at a top school, at Ivy League, a Research One Institute, a state university? Do you want to teach at a public school or a private school? Do you want to teach at a small college? Do you want to teach at a school near you, a regional school, a community college, for example, or an online school? You have many different options here, and often they actually regulate the way you will write your application and also the way you will interview and present yourself. So it's a really hard choice here to make. You have to discuss this with your advisor, but also you can apply also to different type of schools here, which means that your application will also be different for each school that you apply to. You also have different types of positions. So being a teacher, being a college professor, there's not just one way to be a college professor. Of course, the way you will be a college professor will differ very much from if you are, for example, an online teacher or an on-site teacher. If you teach at a prestigious, R1 school versus, let's say, a regional school or a community college. Those are different type of gigs, different type of jobs, and you will need to write different letters for those positions. So you really have three types of teaching positions in the US. The most common one is probably the adjunct position. Adjunct instructors are paid by the class. So they are usually hired to teach, one or two courses per semester, but they may not be eligible to teach more than that, or there may not actually be opportunities for them to teach more than that during the year. Lecturer positions are usually carrying a full teaching load. Sometimes lecturers are on contract, for up to 5, 6, 7 years. Sometimes it's just 1 year that's renewable, but usually it carries a full teaching load and a full-time salary. Then you have also tenure track positions, which are rarer and rarer now. But it's usually also a full teaching load, but also you have a lot of research expectation, and usually tenure track positions do end up getting you tenured, which means job security that you may not have as a lecturer or an adjunct. Here again, the requirements for these positions varies from school to school. Which means that, for example, for some lecturer position, you do have a research requirement in some schools. Some others do not have a research requirement. For a tenure track position, if you are at a teaching school, teaching may be very important, research not that much. But if you work for Johns Hopkins, for example, research may be very important, and teaching may be less. So the requirements for those positions are very much different from school to school. Where do you find jobs? The best way to find ads is, of course, to consult with your professional organization. The AGLSP sometimes does have ads. Your professional local organization, the historian organization, the anthropologist organization, the MLM. There are also some job boards online. Higher Ed Job is a good way to start. HNet also, and LinkedIn has a lot of job posts too. What's part of the application and how does the interview look like? Usually what you need in order to teach at the college level is 18 graduate credits in your discipline, which means that you have that as a MLA graduate. Sometimes you need a PhD. Again, the requirements very much differ from school to school. You will need a writing sample, you will need teaching evaluations, you will need syllabi. One problem that we run into for Masters of Liberal Arts students is they cannot sometimes prove that they have 18 credits in the same disciplines because all of our classes are coded AS, as you know. They're not coded history or anthropology or sociology. However, we can absolutely write a letter for you to confirm that you have those 18 credits. What's also very difficult here sometimes for a recent graduate is that you do not have teaching experience. Here again, we can write a letter stipulating why we think that you would be a very good teacher. Usually, when you get your PhD, if you apply for a PhD, you will get teaching experience built in as part of your PhD training, which means that you would have taught courses on your own, classes on your own, and then you can show, of course, that you have this type of experience. And that's all that I had for you today. However, I'm happy to take questions here. I'm going to give you a minute if you can post your question. Are there any questions? No question, it seems. Thank you all for coming today. That was a very short episode today. If you have any questions, of course, as you know, we are here to help. Feel free to email us. You can email me at tcabello.ghu.edu, and I'm happy to help you with your application and helping you search for your first teaching job. Thank you so much for joining us today. We will see you very soon for our episode number 7.